Well, hello everyone and welcome to a video I wanted to do for quite some time now, and it's about tides. I've heard the Flat Earth gang going on and on about tides and how, oh well, the moon can't pull water and things like that, and I find it absolutely hilarious, and I will show you in this video why I find it so hilarious. I also must admit that I find the replies from the established kind of people that I watch very occasionally, like McToon, MC Toon really. I find the replies somewhat lacking. Yeah, so I thought I'd give a reply the way I would do if I had enough time to prepare really. So what did I do? I went at the Tides and Currents page of the NOAA, Tides and Currents page, and I looked at the historic water levels, and I thought I'd select a station. For no particular reason, I went down to Washington because I scrolled down to the page. I scrolled down to the page, and I thought I'd select NOAA Bay because NOAA seems interesting. I don't know, I really, there was no particular reason. I just went down there and I thought, oh, this one has present here, so I'm taking that. This one also has present here. I didn't take this one. It's not all too much important which station you choose, right? And if you click here, you come to this page. I selected here the whole month of April because this is being done on the 1st of May. And so really what's going on here is that these were the tides as they were recorded in feet time. The sampling space was every 6 minutes, so every 6 minutes they took a measurement, and you can see this here, so right, so this is what the tide levels looked like. This is what the prediction for the tide levels looked like. You can see that the prediction fits it very well, and I will come to why that is very briefly, but that's like the first thing, that if, dear flat earthers, if the things that we say that causes the tides aren't possible, how are we able to predict it with that amount of accuracy? Just wondering. You can actually plot the observed minus predicted here, and it's roughly around 0 all the time, right? So this is great data, and a great prediction and great data. So you can actually download all of that. You can, although I must admit I forgot where. Yeah, you can go to data only, and you can go to the data listing, and then you can export it to a file, and that is exactly what I did. And I am using that file to figure out what frequencies are in there. Well, what do I mean by frequencies? Well, so I'm importing the data, standard Python stuff. Again, I'm not a good programmer. I mentioned it in one of my earlier videos. I'm not a good programmer. I'm a scientist in training, and I use Python as my main language because that's the language I know best, and because it gets me the results that I need to get in the shortest amount of time. I just plotted the data. This is the same one that we have here. It's just the same one that we have here. It's just a bit more compacted, right? It's just the preliminary curve, by the way, too, right? Good. That's just compromised, like compressed, not compromised. I'm sorry. This is the time since the 1st of April in minutes, and that's the height. I converted it into meters. That's the only thing I did. I should have mentioned that I converted it from feet into meters roughly, because I want to imagine something when I look at data. And now I do what's called a Fourier transform. Now a Fourier transform is essentially applying a mathematical instrument kind of to this data, and asking it of which frequencies are you comprised of, right? Because clearly there's something going on. You see that these peaks here, they come with a certain regularity. And what a Fourier transform does is essentially, it does quite many things, but which I can't go through because I also don't fully understand all of them. But what one of the things that it does is you get kind of a listing of the frequencies that are in a certain curve, right? And that's what I'm interested in. You will see later why. If I do the Fourier transform and I plot it, I get this picture. So you can see that there are no frequency, like no frequency contributions in this range whatsoever, and there are quite a lot here. So I thought I'd zoom in, and this is what we have here. The x-axis here is in cycles per 6 minutes, right? So this point right here has 0 point something cycles all 6 minutes. So that's a bit of a stupid unit. So I thought I'd first of all, I'm finding the 5 highest positions here, which is obviously this one, these two, this one, and this one. I didn't use the 0. If you have a Fourier transform and a 0 comes out, that essentially means that a part of the data couldn't be, as far as I understand it, a part of the data couldn't be ascribed to much of any frequency, so it yields a 0, or that the frequency is so close to 0 that you can't plot it any differently. It's not important. You'll see in a bit why. And now what I did is I calculated these frequencies that we have here back into their full period lengths, right? Because one of them is 6 minutes, I did 6 over this positions divided by 60, so I wouldn't get it in minutes but in hours, and 2 pi because the Fourier transform comes with a 2 pi, it puts a 2 pi in front of things really. And what I get here are the hours, so the period lengths of the tides, right? And these times are interesting. And for the flat earthers who wonder why, let's have a look at the theory of tides, which by the way is incredibly well known, judging only by this data table. These are all the contributions to the tides, right? So if I did my things correctly here, we should come out with the first 5 or 4, because these two, I imagine that these two are actually the same kind of contribution, but the resolution of the data sampling was slightly too small to really get a peak in the middle here. So I imagine that these two might be the same. We will have a look. So the first one here is the principal lunar semi-diurnal. Jesus, what a word. And it has a period of 12.4 hours, right? Well, let's have a look at it. Well, I don't have 12.4 exactly, but I have like 11.9, which is to be expected from real life data, right? It's not going to be perfect. It's going to be a bit less than perfect, right? So I thought, well, that may be that one. Could also be these two, but let's say it's that one. So that's fine. The second largest here comes with 12 hours exactly. Well, again, we have some that are very close to 12 hours. This one or this one again. The next closest one comes again with 12.6 hours. Well, again, we are very close to 12 hours here. And again, this is with one set of data over a single month, real life data, so it has a whole bunch of errors in it. And I didn't even do an error analysis because I don't have time for that. It took me long enough to do that. That's half an evening here. So the first 3 appear fine. The fourth one is at 23.9 hours. Well, let's have a look at it. Wow, well, would you look at that? 23. Either of these is fine, right? And the fifth one I don't have. This would be 6 hours. I do not have a contribution with 6 hours in it. I do, however, have the sixth one with 25. Could be that one, right? But again, this one and this one, I believe they could be they might be too close together, really. So, but all in all, I come out with the same order of magnitude of things, right? And that means, in the end, that our theory of tides is somewhat matching. You can really see how matching it is if you look at the predictions versus the preliminary, right? So I'm very curious about what the flat earthers have to say about this one, especially if you look at how accurately we know the constitutions of the tides. I've heard a flat earther claim that we can't predict tides. Well, what's that then? You can go to today, actually. Today is May 1st, and we can go to let's see what the data says for today. Well, would you look at that? Yeah, I'm going back today. Well, would you look at that? It's still accurate within a very reasonable amount of error. So yeah, I would be super interested in what you have to say about that. Yeah, and with that, I thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, it would be nice if you would consider leaving a like, or dare I even suggest subscribing. If you have any suggestions about my videos, please feel free to leave them in the comments. And with that said, I wish you a very nice day, very nice 1st of March, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye!